Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Tuesday, the 14th of December, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Let's start the charts right here. Take a look at what's going on. Wall Street edges lower on Omicron worries. The Fed meetings is awaited. Apple's become the first $3 trillion. Well, it's close. Apple closes in on becoming the first $3 trillion company. Indexes are down. Okay, so what's happening is we're awaiting a Fed meeting. Now the Fed is becoming very hawkish right now. They want to tighten everything. At the same time, we get this Omicron coming in. I want to talk to you just a minute about this. Now, you guys know for the last week or so, I've been doing shows about this exact subject. Now, major epidemiologists and stuff, I've been watching them on YouTube, and I've been listening, not just on YouTube, but in the general media. I've been listening to what they're saying about this, and they're starting to catch up now to what I was saying a week ago. And they're scared. They're scared. We can all agree on something. Omicron makes you sick. Simple as that. We can also agree on we've never ever seen anything that's spreading through the human population so fast. Ever, I don't think. There's nothing like it. It's completely different than what we've been used to for over the last couple of years with coronavirus. This is completely different. This is totally different. One of the ways it's different is the way it's spreading and seeding itself. Now here's the problem. The problem comes around the end of January and early into February. And this is why I've been predicting a major slowdown like we've never experienced before, ever. And it's not going to be a slowdown, it's not going to be the kind of slowdown that we're used to either. It's going to be a kind of slowdown where basically people are out sick. Kind of a slowdown. Where you go to your local store and it might be closed. Or if it's not closed, there might only be one or two people that aren't sick. What I'm basically telling you is that it's the way the speed it travels at and moves through the population that's going to be the biggest problem is the speed. The speed. Unbelievable. And I was watching these epidemiologists and stuff there, and they're really scared. They're scared. Because if everybody in this world, or not everybody, I'm not going to say 100%. There's always a few people that don't get sick and stuff. But if an awful high percentage of the people are sick, what do you think runs this world? People have to get up and go to work and do their job or whatever. We all do our job. We all share in this. This is what runs this world. This is what makes this world function. To function. There's going to be a period in time coming in around probably the end of January or sometime in February where the whole world is going to cease to function properly. I'm going to call it a slowdown. I'm going to call it the biggest slowdown the world has ever seen. If you think the Fed and other central banks are going to kick their feet up and say, well, we're going to taper now, or we're going to reduce monetary policy, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, while the markets are falling out of bed, and they're already starting to fall out of bed now, the markets are starting to realize what I've been talking about for a week now. They're starting to realize that it's coming. I mean, they're not completely in the dark. Because they're taking it. The markets are starting to take the word of the epidemiologists and the people, the experts, the scientific experts and stuff right now. And they're starting to listen to them. They're starting to say, hey, what is this? This is going to be massive. Massive. And the market's starting to move on this. At the same time, the Fed's coming in all excited. They're going to taper. They're going to knock inflation on its head and all this kind of stuff. They're going to do a Paul Volcker and everything else. This is their mindset, right? So what we got going on right now is we're going to see a sea change in the Fed, and in the other central banks as well. All the central banks are going to have to work in a coordinated effort here to keep this slowdown from turning into a monster crash. Now, what's weird about this situation is, on the other side of this, looking out maybe into spring, the whole thing, the whole economy, the whole world is going to start to roar back. This is my belief anyway. It's going to start to roar back. So we're going to have this sharp decline in productivity, and in the whole world itself, actually sharp, amazingly sharp, spike downwards. It's going to be a spike downwards in everything. It's going to spur central bank reaction. And then on the other side of this, we're going to have this massive roar back when the whole world roars back into action again. On the other side of this comes spring and then moving into summer. So whatever the central banks do, whatever stimulus measures or whatever else they do, on the other side of this, when this thing roars back, this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at that far ahead. Like last week I was talking about this spike downwards we're going to receive, this slowdown. Last week. Now, today, I'm talking about the roar back on the other side. That's going to be inflation inducing, that roar back. And at the same time, they're going to have to support the economy through this spike downwards in productivity, this slowdown like we've never seen before, and then a roar back on the other side of it. So when they support it, which they're going to have to, and then we get the roar back on the other side of it, you have never seen inflation like's going to come with that when everything roars back to life again on the other side, probably midsummer. If you think that 6.8 inflation is bad, okay, in fact, I'm going to tell you guys what. I'm telling you straight up front. The next few months are going to be the weirdest months of your life. It's going to be weird. And not just financially speaking. It's going to be a very strange period in time. Like we've never experienced before. Ever. This is, in all my life, this is the strangest period of time I've ever seen. I've never seen a stranger period in time than right now. But, even though dark clouds are looming, I think on the other side of this, come summer, it's going to be a memory. Come summer, by next summer, next fall, it's going to be a memory. It's going to be like a bad memory of it's going to be something like the memory that the people have where the tornado went through. Massive tornado went through. And right now, they're almost in shock. Well, that's what the whole world's going to be like. But then, moving on the other side of this, coming into next summer and stuff, it's going to seem like a bad memory. See, these people that had their houses destroyed and everything else, this is a terrible thing. But in a year or two from now, it's going to be a memory. It's going to be a bad memory. Well, this situation that we're going through for the next couple months is going to be a bad memory, I think, by summer. But this is a I can't begin to describe to you guys how weird the next couple months is going to be. And we're all in it together. You, me, everybody. Everybody listening to my show. We're all in this together. And here it comes. Here it comes. Silver price today. Look at what happened to silver. Oh my gosh, 64 cents down. 21.67. I'm going to tell you guys, let them keep going a little bit longer and it'll be free. But want to back up the truck? Zero silver. Okay, wait a little bit longer until I give you money to take it. Something's wrong here. Something is not right about all this, you know, but this is part of this deflationary pressure we see from the front side of this coming in. And it's putting a lot of deflationary pressure right now. Now, this deflationary pressure is going to continue. And it's going to grow stronger until we get a central bank reaction. And this is just beginning. This deflationary pressure could see the markets fall out of bed. We're talking about the Dow, you know, and the S&P 500 and the Russell and everything. The NASDAQ, all of it could start to fall out of bed. We're looking at cryptocurrency. Well, we see silver and gold's falling out of bed right now. Well, let's take a look now at the cryptos. And cryptos isn't doing real well. You know, we're looking at a $47,000 Bitcoin price today. Let's take a look now at the mini Dow Jones. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 68 points. Let me refresh the page. Down 97 points. Methinketh that this could be in for a big fall, like a big drops could be coming on this very soon. And it's all about, it depends on what the Fed says today. If they stay the course or if they start talking about increasing their tightening schedule or whatever, you know, and they start talking hawkish today, this thing could really fall out of bed. Really, seriously. Okay, let's take a look at oil. Oil's fallen out of bed a little bit. $70.47. It's down 82 cents on the day. Now let's take a look at the MOVE index. 76.41 on the MOVE index. We're going to take a look at bonds and rates. We're seeing rising yields today, but bond yields are incredibly low. If we're looking at a 10-year under 1.5% at 1.44%. And we're looking at a 30-year at 1.83. Still got the inversion. The 20-year still 1.87. So we get a small, tiny rise in yields today on the long end of the yield curve. But these yields are still incredibly low. And they're going to have to keep them low because they can't afford to let them go up. It's as simple as that. So, you know, they're talking about tapering their bond assets, their bond purchases and stuff, you know. But they're still going to be buying. They're still the biggest buyer, even if they start to taper. They'll never get down to zero on this business. In fact, I think we're just days away from them relenting as this Omicron spreads out wider, makes a wider net. And that's what it's doing in every country on Earth. Heard last night now it's in India. You know, every country on Earth is going to be impacted by this. It keeps increasing the number of countries it's in. And it's seeding itself very rapidly as we speak in almost every country on Earth. And it's growing exponentially. Extremely fast at a rate of like, I can't get a precise, sorry for you guys, but I can't get a precise doubling time on it. Sometimes I'm hearing 2 to 3 days is what they're saying, but there's nothing really precise. I think the precisest estimate I got was 2.4 days, but don't hold me to that because I'm not getting precise estimates on that, the doubling time. But it's somewhere in that area, you know, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, maybe 4 days. I don't know, somewhere in that area. But you just do the math on the calendar. Just do the math. Take it as a rule. Just take every 3 days and double. And it's a simple math equation, you know. Math equation you may be done as kids in school, you know. 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, 32, 64, 128, so on, 256, you know. Moves right on up there really fast, especially when it starts to get into the bigger numbers. That's when it moves, because that's the way exponentials function. And in the last doubling, it would be the final 50% of the number, of the total number. So if the total number was 8 billion, you know, when it goes, then that in that last 3 days, it goes from 4 to 8. It munches up it's like a sudden sort of a thing. It's like, and this is the power of exponentials and exponential functions. And that's what we're dealing with here. And that's why you guys are going to see something like I'm saying. I've been ahead of this. I've been ahead of all of these speaking heads. I've been ahead of them about a week is all. I'm about a week ahead of them is all. But I've been saying it for about a week, and now they're repeating what I said about a week ago. And they are really nervous when they're sitting, like they're gulping when they're talking. They're like, this is gonna, like, they're upset. They're upset for good reason. We've never experienced anything like this before. This is unlike the other epidemic. No, I should say the other parts of this pandemic we've experienced before. This is unlike it. This is something new. This is something completely different, something completely radical. And what's radical about it is the way it spreads, the speed in which it spreads through the population. That's the radical part. It's completely different than what we've experienced so far. Anyway, so we're all basically, I guess what it amounts to saying is we're all going to be exposed at a certain point. You don't want to be exposed, I'll tell you what you have to do. You have to be the only person inside your dwelling. You'd have to have your dwelling probably away from other dwellings, at least a few 100 feet. And you'd have to have no visitors, and you'd have to not leave that dwelling to go out for shopping or anything else. That's what you'd have to do to not be exposed. I mean, you'd have to completely isolate yourself with walls between you and other people the whole duration of this thing. And there might be a few people out there, hermits out in the woods, you know, maybe some sort of a ranger that works on some sort of a maybe he works on a fire tower someplace out in the middle of nowhere. You know, this doesn't get exposed. But there's going to be very few people that don't get exposed. Maybe if they're on an oil rig in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or something, you know, and they don't get visitors for 6 months, maybe they won't get exposed. But everybody else, here it comes. Stocks fall for a second straight day after more hot inflation data. Fed meeting begins. Oh, they're all sitting down at the table right now, guys. Here it goes, starting. The Fed meeting, it's beginning. And what are they going to talk about? Well, probably the same things I'm talking about here, but I don't know how up on what's going on. Really, what up on what's going on? They're probably going to talk about inflation a lot. What's inflation doing? You know, and everything. We got to fight this and everything. If we don't get ahead of this, they're probably talking. Well, I don't think they're going to get ahead of it. And I think the reason why they're not going to get ahead of it is the whole world economy is going to need help very, very soon. Probably by the end of January, the whole world economy is going to need help, and it's going to need it really bad. But what's unusual about this is the speed up coming on the other side of this. This is going to be really, you guys got front row seats to all of this. This is going to be a show like you've never seen before. This is going to be unbelievable what's going to happen in the next couple months. It's unreal. It's like something from another world or something. It's like, we're going to live through this? Oh my gosh, it's going to be something like you guys have never ever seen before. So keep your spectacles on, guys, and get yourself some citrus into the house. I would recommend right now buying some oranges, lemons, maybe a few lemons and stuff, maybe some chicken noodle soup, a few cans of chicken noodle soup, maybe some Vicks, that stuff you rub on your chest, you know, that Vicks vapor rub stuff. Uh, Maybe buy yourself a new pillow. What else can we do? We might as well laugh as cry, you know? Anyway, let's take a look now at the US dollar index, 96.28, and it's dipsy doodling today a little bit. Doing the dipsy doodle, 96.28, up and down. Okay, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. You guys have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.